In 2005, three guys with no office, no plan, and no clear idea of what they were building moved into a space above a pizzeria to work. 20 months later, Google paid them $1.65 billion. Not for a finished product, not for a brilliant business plan, but for solving a frustration that no one else had taken seriously. Uploading a video to the internet was a nightmare. But before getting there, this project almost died twice. Once as a bad idea for a dating site, and another time almost buried under the weight of a legal threat that could have destroyed it completely, right when it was growing the fastest. This is the story of how 3 former PayPal employees built, almost by accident, one of the most powerful pieces of internet infrastructure, and how they came within a hair's breadth of losing it all, more than once, before the world understood what was happening. Before YouTube dominated the internet, uploading a video was almost an act of faith.
In the early 2000s, files were too large. Formats didn't get along with each other. Browsers crashed halfway through playback. Sharing a video with a friend could cost you an entire afternoon of failed attempts. In that clunky world, 3 people had crossed paths inside PayPal: Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Karim. PayPal wasn't just any company for cultivating talent. When eBay bought it in 2002 for $1.5 billion, dozens of its employees walked away with money, time, and a dangerous certainty. They knew how to build something big, and they had nothing left to lose by trying again. Over the years, the founders of Tesla, LinkedIn, and Palantir would emerge from that very same group. Hurley, Chen, and Karim were just 3 more names from that restless generation. Chad had product intuition, Steve had technical muscle, Jawed had a cool, analytical, structural mind. They weren't 3 versions of the same person. And that difference would end up being their secret weapon. When 3 profiles like that cross paths at the right moment, only 2 things happen. They destroy each other, or they invent something massive. The domain youtube.com was registered on February 14, 2005, Valentine's Day. And here comes something almost no one remembers. At first, YouTube was supposed to be a video dating site. The idea was simple on paper. People would upload clips to introduce themselves and connect with others. A primitive mix of personal profiles, dating, and video. In practice, almost no one wanted to use it. There was no traction, there was no real interest, and for weeks, the project was genuinely close to dying in silence. Just another one of those 1,000 digital experiments that never go anywhere. But then something happened that saved everything. Instead of doubling down on an idea that clearly wasn't working, the 3 of them paused to look at what people were actually trying to do on the platform, even though it wasn't what it had been designed for. They didn't want dates. They wanted to upload videos. Any video, about anything. That pivot, letting go of the ego, following actual user behavior instead of defending the original idea, was the most important decision they made in the entire history of the company. And it's the decision that most founders, in any industry, never managed to make in time. They found a tagline that summarized everything they were building. Broadcast yourself. Broadcast yourself. It wasn't just a catchy slogan. It was a declaration of war against the old media model where video flowed downward, from studios, networks, production companies, to an audience that could only sit and watch.
YouTube completely flipped that flow upside down. It told the average user something no one had ever said to them with such clarity. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for a budget. Don't wait for a TV network to open its doors for you. Upload your video. Publish it. Let the world decide if it's worth watching. When a platform turns millions of everyday people into potential broadcasters, it stops behaving like a normal company. It becomes cultural infrastructure. All of this was built literally in a garage. Chad Hurley's garage in Menlo Park served as their first real base of operations. Steve wrestled with the technical architecture, making it so anyone could upload a video and play it back without the user ever sensing the technical hell happening behind the screen. Chad pushed the design, the interface, making everything feel intuitive, clean, immediate.
Javed helped define crucial core product decisions before stepping back from day-to-day operations. There was no glamour. There was urgency. Every technical improvement opened one door only to reveal another problem waiting on the other side. Compression, storage, server capacity. When growth demanded more space than a garage could offer, they moved to San Mateo, to a second floor above a pizzeria, right next to a Japanese restaurant. While pizzas were baking downstairs and life went on as usual, upstairs, a machine that would change the internet forever was being assembled, wire by wire. Monitors, stacked servers, cramped desks, little space, total vertigo. At one point, nearly 60 people were working there in a single room, keeping a chaos afloat that was barely holding together. The world's next major cultural infrastructure doesn't always start on a gleaming campus of glass and gardens. Sometimes, it's born above a pizzeria, with the smell of melted cheese wafting up the stairs, while someone tries to keep a server from crashing. On April 23, 2005, a video was uploaded to the platform that, at the time, absolutely no one cared about. Javed Karim standing in front of some elephants at the San Diego Zoo. 19 seconds. He barely says anything relevant. It's titled, "Me at the Zoo." Today, it's almost sacred, not for its quality or its editing, but because it represents something nearly impossible to replicate. Ground zero of a whole new era. Without speaking it aloud, that video sent a massive message. Content doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be able to exist. YouTube didn't win at first by having the best videos in the world. It won by eliminating the permission that had previously been required to appear on a screen. And here, it's worth shattering a comfortable illusion. YouTube didn't blow up on day one. There were no fireworks. There wasn't a million users out of nowhere. At first, there was silence. Few uploads, little traffic. From the outside, it looked like just another digital experiment destined to disappear within a year. But beneath that modest surface, something was slowly catching fire. The few users who did visit quickly caught on to the real value of the product. They uploaded something. They shared the link. They came back the next day. They invited someone else. Those clips began circulating across blogs, forums, email chains, MySpace, entire communities hungry for oddities, humor, and novelties worth forwarding. Every funny video became a new gateway. Every shared link, another potential creator joining the platform. When a product spreads on its own, without a marketing budget, without paid campaigns, the growth curve stops behaving like that of any ordinary startup. And that was precisely what began to happen, week after week. That quiet growth came with a price tag that almost no one sees in the glossed-over versions of this story. The servers started failing. Every time a video unexpectedly went viral, traffic spiked so fast that the infrastructure, designed for a handful of curious users, threatened to collapse. There were entire nights when the tiny team stayed up trying to prevent the entire platform from crashing under its own success. It's a brutal paradox that very few startups manage to survive. Growing so fast that your own growth becomes your most immediate threat. YouTube was, more than once, hours away from going down completely, right as more people were tuning in. In the end, the most evolutionary thing about YouTube wasn't the technology. It was the implicit decision to rely on everyday people, not celebrities, not production studios, not TV networks, as the primary source of content. People uploaded home videos, pets, goofy pranks, blunders, absurd ideas, improvised thoughts in front of a webcam. And that chaos generated something no traditional media outlet could produce at the same speed. Infinite variety. But something even deeper was happening beneath the surface. uploading a video, getting those first views, seeing that someone had left a comment, uploading another one. That feedback loop, repeated over and over, triggered an immediate reward, visible validation, a sense of presence. People who had never had an audience in their entire lives suddenly felt, even on a small scale, what it feels like to be seen by others. That isn't just user retention, that's emotional attachment. And attachment can be bought with advertising. It's built, almost unintentionally, when a product gives people a new way to feel present in the world. When the numbers really started taking off, investors did what they always do when they smell blood in the water, moving fast before anyone else. Sequoia Capital, one of the most respected firms in all of Silicon Valley, ended up placing its bet on the company. And when a firm of that weight steps in, it brings more than just money. It brings validation. It brings time. Time to scale infrastructure, hire a team, and expand before competitors could react. Because in tech, the battle is rarely won by whoever has the best idea. It's won by whoever manages to become inevitable first. But just when everything seemed to be climbing non-stop, the first real danger appeared. And this time, the problem wasn't technical. Any system that grows too fast discovers, sooner or later, the exact price of that speed. In YouTube's case, that danger had an old name and sharp teeth: copyright. Many of the most popular videos weren't original. They were TV show clips, full music videos, entire comedy sketches that people uploaded simply because they wanted to rewatch them whenever they liked. That drove views, hundreds of thousands of them, but it also set off alarm bells in the most powerful offices of the entertainment industry. Major TV networks and record labels started noticing that a new platform, born out of a garage and a pizzeria, was growing at a crazy pace, driven largely by content that didn't legally belong to the people uploading it. It was an explosive contradiction. YouTube was winning precisely because it allowed culture to circulate without friction. But for that very reason, it was stepping deeper into a legal minefield each week, where a single well-aimed lawsuit could wipe out the entire project in one stroke. For the first time, the question was no longer how much they were going to grow. In the tensest internal meetings in the company's history, the question became whether they would survive this at all. And yet, even as that legal threat mounted on one side, something else was growing right alongside it: the widespread consensus across Silicon Valley that YouTube was no longer just another experiment. Google was watching. Yahoo was watching. The biggest tech giants on the planet were watching closely. Because video wasn't just another content format, it was the next major language of the internet, and whoever ended up dominating it would hold an almost irreplaceable advantage in attention, advertising, and culture. Google already had its own attempt at a video platform, but it was clearly losing the battle that actually mattered, the battle for real user behavior. Instead of saying, "I'm going to watch a video online," more and more people were simply saying, "I'm going to watch it on YouTube." At that exact moment, the product stopped being just another promising startup. It became a strategic asset, and at the same time, a target. From the outside, selling a company for a massive figure always looks like an obvious choice. From the inside, it never is. Selling means securing the win for good, but it also means letting go of control over something that was only just beginning to show its true scale, its true potential. Talks with Google proceeded quietly, far from the press. It wasn't just about negotiating a price. It was about answering a far more uncomfortable question. Could YouTube weather the legal, technical, and infrastructure storms looming on the horizon on its own? With the threat of copyright lawsuits still breathing down their necks, the answer was no longer as clear as it would have been months earlier. Google offered something no makeshift loft above a pizzeria could ever build on its own: massive scale, virtually unlimited resources, and something as valuable as money itself, a legal and institutional shield capable of absorbing the incoming blows. On October 9, 2006, Google officially announced the acquisition of YouTube for $1.65 billion in stock.
The figure sent a shockwave through Silicon Valley. 20 months. That's all it took for them to get there. 20 months prior, the project was still groping in the dark, trying to figure out what it wanted to be. 20 months prior, the video dating site idea hadn't even caught on, and now, suddenly, it was worth over $1.6 billion. That turned Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Karim into near-instant symbols of a very specific kind of success: compressed success. The kind of success that happens so fast it feels like pure fiction, right up until the exact moment the contract is signed. But the most impressive part of this whole story isn't the money in the end. It's the sheer speed with which three people managed to spot a real shift in human behavior and capture it completely, ahead of any of the giants that had been watching them from afar for months. Google didn't just buy a video platform. It bought attention. It bought habit. It bought the growing custom of millions of people searching, watching, and sharing their lives in video format, all in one place. That's nearly impossible to build from scratch, and even harder to copy once a clear leader already exists in people's minds. Even before signing the deal, YouTube had won the war that actually mattered, the war for the user's mind. Backed by Google, the platform was able to do almost immediately what would have taken years on its own: scale its infrastructure without fear of crashing, negotiate seriously with the very content owners who months earlier were threatening lawsuits, and turn a brilliant chaos into a long-term sustainable machine. It was no longer just a rebellion of home videos uploaded from a teenager's bedroom. It had become the new center of gravity for all video consumption on the internet, and without fully knowing it yet, the seed of something even larger: the creator economy as we know it today. At first glance, this story seems like just another Silicon Valley fantasy. Three smart guys, an idea, explosive growth, $1 billion sale. But looking closely, it tells us something far more uncomfortable and far more useful. It shows that a company can be born from a tiny point of friction and still end up redefining an entire culture. It shows that ditching a bad idea in time without letting ego get in the way can be worth more than having the perfect idea from day one. It shows that a humble office above a pizzeria was never a real barrier to an ambition as big as the entire world. And above all, it shows that the internet changed forever on the exact day an ordinary person stopped being just a viewer and started becoming a broadcaster. So the next time you open YouTube to watch an interview, a tutorial, a recipe, or a story like this one, remember one simple thing: that empire didn't start with a perfect plan. It started with three people confronting a point of friction that everyone else quietly tolerated, stubbornly refusing to keep accepting it. It started in a garage, continued above a pizzeria, almost collapsing under its own weight week after week. And in just 20 months, it ended up becoming one of the wildest acquisitions in the entire history of the internet. But the real masterstroke of this story was never the money. It was building, almost by accident, a place where the whole world could finally show itself. And once that happened, there was no going back. This story has a happy ending: 3 unknowns, an idea that almost died twice, and a final check for $1.65 billion. But not all stories of genius end like that. There is one, from nearly 200 years ago, that starts with the same intensity and ends in a completely different way. The story of a young man who, in a single night, hand-wrote some of the most revolutionary mathematical ideas of his century, knowing that in just a few hours, in all probability, he was going to die. No one paid him $1 billion. No one applauded him while he was alive. In fact, almost no one really understood what he had written that night until decades after his death. His name was Évariste Galois.
he was only 20 years old, and that is the next story.